eastern states of Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura and Manipur figure among 6 states to which centre has deputed multidisciplinary teams in view of increased number of COVID-19 cases. Vice President calls for fast tracking of genome sequencing of new COVID-19 variants to speed up vaccine drug development. Government announces inclusion of retail and wholesale trades as MSME. Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma meets President Ramnath Kovind and Union Minister Smriti Irani in New Delhi. And Nagaland's new Chief Electoral Officer emphasizes for a better electoral system in the state. A very good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Northeast News Bulletin from the studios of DDK Guwahati. This is Hansraj, and now the stories in detail. Centre has deputed multidisciplinary teams to 6 states today in view of the increased number of COVID-19 cases being reported by these states. The states are Kerala, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Odisha, Chhattisgarh and Manipur. The Union Health Ministry said these teams will be supporting them in their efforts for targeted COVID response and management and effectively tackling the pandemic. The Union government has been leading the fight against the global pandemic with a whole of government and whole of society approach. The high-level team consists of a clinician and a public health expert. The teams will visit the states immediately and monitor the overall implementation of COVID-19 management, especially in testing, surveillance and containment operations, availability of hospital beds, sufficient logistics including ambulances, ventilators and medical oxygen. Vice President of India M. Venkaiah Naidu today called for fast-tracking of genome sequencing of new COVID-19 variants to speed up finding suitable vaccines and drugs. The Vice President visited CCMB's LECONS, Laboratory for the Conservation of Endangered Species facility soon after his arrival in Hyderabad. He witnessed a presentation by a scientist in charge of LECONS, Dr. Karthikeyan Vasudevan, and visited National Wildlife Genetic Resource Bank, Assisted Reproduction Lab and animal cages at the facility. Addressing scientists and research scholars, as Naidu observed that sequencing as an adjunctive tool plays a critical role in identifying the emergence of new viral mutations and thus helps combat the spread of COVID-19. It would also help in timely interventions, he added. Minister of MSME and Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari today announced the revised guidelines for MSMEs with inclusion of retail and wholesale trades as MSMEs. In a tweet, he said, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we are committed to strengthening of MSME and make them engines for economic growth. Gadkari said the revised guidelines will benefit 2.5 crore retail and wholesale traders. He said retail and wholesale trade were left off the ambit of MSME. Now, under the revised guidelines, retail and wholesale trade will also get benefit of priority sector lending under the RBI guidelines. With the revised guidelines, the retail and wholesale trades will now be allowed to register on Udyam registration portal. Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma on Friday called on President Ramnath Kovind at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Dr. Sarma extended an invitation to the President to visit Assam and see UNESCO's World Heritage Site for Nature Kaziranga National Park. Taking to Twitter, the Chief Minister Sarma wrote he is extremely proud to have received the President's blessings and guidance. Dr. Sarma also met Union Minister for Textiles, Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani. During their interaction, the two leaders discussed issues related to women and child development as well as the handloom sector in the state. On Thursday, the Chief Minister visited Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India has recorded highest ever export in the first quarter of April to June this year, despite the severity of a second wave of COVID-19. Addressing a press conference in New Delhi, Goyal said India's economy is growing and the exports are also growing. He said the highest ever merchandise export of $95 billion has been achieved in the first quarter of this financial year between April to June. He said it has surpassed earlier peak of export in quarter 4 of 2020-21, which was $90 billion.
उसमें भी बड़े पैमाने पे वृद्धि हो रही है। तो एक प्रकार से देश विकास की दौर में पुनः एक बार तेज गति से चल पड़ा है और ये भारत का भविष्य एक प्रकार से नींव रख रहा है भारत के भविष्य के लिए। भारत के भविष्य की एक छोटी झलक है जो हमें देखने को मिल रही है। सर्वप्रथम तो आपको मुझे बताते हुए खुशी होती है कि जो पहले 3 महीने थे,
V. Shashank Shekhar, IAS, who took charge over as the new Chief Electoral Officer Nagaland, recently said that the Chief Electoral Officer, CEO, as the name implies, has a direct connection with the electoral process and has many aspects like the polling and voting system, the electronic voting management and awareness programs. He said that his views will be on meeting the different stakeholders on how we can improve the electoral process, which includes the men and women of Nagaland, the NGOs, various government machineries and the political setup, as well as the district administration, which plays an important role in all election-related activities, and to get feedback from them.
Still, we would like to do this, and these are some of the thoughts I have in my mind as I have joined. Observer in so many states that the press has a very important role, whether it is the electoral, whether it's the print media or the electronic media. We get a lot of information, a lot of feedback from the press, which is very useful in improving the overall election system. CEO, as the name implies, Chief Electoral Officer, it has a direct connection with the electoral process. So this has many aspects. The polling or voting is, as we know, at the very heart of a democracy.
Assam Director General of Police Bhaskar Jyoti Mohanto on Friday vowed to take stern actions against those who are currently indulging pilferage of electricity. Addressing a press conference in Guwahati, Mohanto said in association with Assam Power Distribution Company Limited, police will carry out a special drive across the state against electricity pilferage. Saying Assam has lost huge revenue for electricity pilferage by a section of vested interest people and no payment of electricity bills, Mohanto appealed the people to stop pilferage of electricity.
এতিয়া আমি লাইন বহাবলৈ ব্যৱস্থা কৰিছো 4টা লাইন। 1 নম্বৰ কথা আৰু 2 নম্বৰ অসম ভাৰতবৰ্ষৰ ভিতৰত 8খন ৰাজ্য য'ত এই কামটো কৰা হৈছে। 8 নম্বৰখন ৰাজ্য।
Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma on Friday met a group of farmers, self-help group members and entrepreneurs at Mendipathar in North Garo Hills district. The government has sanctioned a state-of-the-art mega food park in the district to promote farming and agri-based value addition through food processing. Taking to Twitter, Sangma said there is a market and a demand for products made in Meghalaya. He said value addition, packaging and market linkage will open wide international markets for products of the state. He added Meghalaya government will provide support for packaging and market linkages to open avenues for farmers and entrepreneurs of the state. Over 34 crore vaccine doses have been administered in the country till now under the nationwide vaccination drive. Health Ministry said over 43,60,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. Over 1 crore 74 lakh doses have been given to healthcare workers. Over 2.7 crore doses to frontline workers. People in the 18 to 44 age group have received over 9.63 crore doses. People in the 45 to 59 age group over 10.6 crore doses, and people over 60 years have been administered 9.26 crore doses. The recovery rate has gone up to 97.01%. Over 59,000 patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. Over 2 crore 95 lakh people have recovered from COVID-19 so far. And the country reported more than 46,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. 853 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. With this, the death toll due to the pandemic has reached 4,312,000. Recording 2,783 active cases, Arunachal Pradesh has topped with 33,209 cured cases, even as the death numbered 176. In Assam, active cases clocked 24,390 active cases, even as discharged cases that numbered 4,80,839. The tally for the dead is 4,577. Manipur has 5,930 active cases, followed by 63,206 cured cases, even as the dead accounted for 1,162. Settled with 4,537 active cases, Meghalaya has registered 44,709 discharged cases. The tally for the dead is 844. Reporting 4,132 active cases, Mizoram has a caseload of 16,545 released cases, even as the dead accounted for 93. Nagaland has logged 1,321 active cases, followed by 23,486 discharged cases. The dead numbered 498. Sikkim has recorded 2,107 active cases, even as the released cases topped 18,251. The tally for the dead is 308. And Tripura has 3,816 active cases, 62,130 cured cases, even as the dead accounted for 683. Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh on Friday performed a prayer at the Sri Govindaji temple to seek Lord Govindaji's blessings for the people of Manipur. Taking to Twitter, the Chief Minister wrote, he prayed for Sri Govindaji's blessings to lift souls of people of Manipur from darkness and give people the courage to overcome the challenges that people are facing in the current COVID pandemic. Despite continuous efforts from the state government to curb spread of COVID-19 menace, the state in the last few days has witnessed increasing number of COVID-19 cases. Mizoram Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Minister promised to urge the central government to give compensation to African swine fever victims. African swine fever, or ASF, have claimed the lives of 8,360 pigs and piglets in Mizoram so far. 143 villages or localities have been declared as infected area. Mizoram's Animal Husbandry Minister Dr. K. Bechuwa urged the union government to give compensation for the culled animals.
Kalinga Yenson Omsa guideline Omsa Oma Sumizul Zuichuan State Sokar and Central Sokar.
In the Eurocup football, battle lines have been drawn for the quarterfinal matches tonight. Three-time European champion Spain will clash with Switzerland in the first encounter, while Belgium will take on Italy in the second match later tonight. Czech Republic will lock horns with Denmark in the third quarterfinal, and England will take on Ukraine in the fourth quarterfinal tomorrow. And with the news, the main points once again. Three northeastern states of Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura and Manipur figure among 6 states to which centre has deputed multidisciplinary teams in view of increased number of COVID-19 cases. Vice President calls for fast-tracking of genome sequencing of new COVID-19 variants to speed up vaccine drug development. Government announces inclusion of retail and wholesale trades as MSME. Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma meets President Ramnath Kovind and Union Minister Smriti Irani in New Delhi. And Nagaland's new Chief Electoral Officer emphasizes for a better electoral system in the state. And that brings us to the end of this evening's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.